Hey, Atlantic Center for the Arts. This is April Zanne Johnson here. I am an alumni. I believe I was there in 2015 with Inca Essenhai as the leader of our pack. Anyway, I'm in the studio right now, and as you can see, I've been working on different projects. I got a lot of paintings kind of going on right now. Kind of thinking about internal landscapes. Of course, sound forms are playing a part for me always, and I'm just about to get on to some new work right now. After I get a few more layers onto these babies in the back behind me. And I think that a lot of the work is coming from isolation, learning how to kind of communicate with myself more so before communicating with the world. You can see some of my sculptures are getting photographed, and some of them are wrapped up already. They look like massive cocoons with paper on top of them, but they're actually wrapped up so they stay safe from any kind of bugs or dust that might come through. In the back here, I've been working on some different projects. You can see, if you can see some things that are actually hanging up and drying right now. These are massive sculptures meant to be put together. There's some on the floor actually being worked on, as you can see. And these pieces are filled with objects from my own personal history collections of things that I've kept throughout many, many years, my whole lifetime. I moved them all over places with me throughout the past, and I felt like they were important to speak towards women and communication systems in this day and age, and what we've kind of been through, how we can be controlled with the information systems that we communicate with, and the information that we're actually receiving, especially online in this day and age. So I think it's very important that this work kind of communicates that to others, and it's just actually kind of having this kind of organic feeling, almost like a pod, I guess you could say. A lot of people think that they look like a metamorphosis, and I think that sums it up. I have a few more of them back here, kind of hanging up, waiting to be worked on again, or photographed. Let's see if I can, this one's actually interesting, this smaller piece. And they're all different sizes, so yeah, a lot of this work has to do with how we give and receive information and control and gaslighting in this day and age. So I guess that's about it for today. I think that the new work probably is interesting to me. Well, of course it's interesting to me because I'm making it, but I think a lot of the pieces that I'm working on presently have to do with that moment that you kind of go through the day and you kind of have this revelation and imagery right before sleep where memories kind of roll in and out of your mind, and they kind of drift into one another. And I think that has a lot to do with the new work. A lot of these paintings have been begun with sound forms, different soundtracks, different music, sounds in the room. And I chose a palette to kind of portray flesh. I wanted them to feel like flesh in the end, have these kind of body references. So they're really a collage of a lot of different feelings and a lot of different ideas. So, and that always, they don't always have to make sense. That's kind of part of the beauty of them. These are new pieces that I'm just starting right now, if you can see. These ones are just being finished up over here. And this is a new one that I'm working on that has to do with sound more than anything else. Place, and I think you can see a little bit of what's going on here. I don't know how the light is for you on your end, but there's some more pieces that I've been working on. And anyway, I hope everybody's well down in Atlantic Center for the Arts. I'm up in New Jersey in my studio in Green Township, and I am very happy to be here and be safe. And I hope you all are too. It's very important that you stay healthy. And I work alone generally, so I was used to being on isolation, but it still is very important for us to communicate and be out in the world together. And hopefully I'll get to see you at some point at Atlantic Center for the Arts. Take care. All right. Bye. From Alumni, April Zanne Johnson. Take care.
The fame, the chicks, the drugs. It was my time. I knew what I wanted, and I went for it. What I learned early on was that this wasn't all partying. It was a business like any other, and it required a lot of hard work. The attention was something I dreamed about, but was not prepared for. To see my face on the cover of all those magazines was a surprise. I really didn't know how to react to all those screaming fans. It was an insane rush. On the set, it seemed like I developed friendships, a family. But once things would wrap, I'd have trouble staying in touch with those people.
Hello?
I'd see them like a year or so later, and they'd be like strangers. Sure, they'd be polite, sometimes friendly even, but I could never tell if it was an act or not. I worried sometimes that the cameras would see me as I really was. I went to a therapist, but it got to the point where I couldn't relax until I had the drugs to calm me down. As I got older, so did the fans. They lost interest. It was hard for them to see their childhood crush in a mature role. It didn't help that I couldn't focus. I still had access to all the girls, all the parties, and that's where my mind was at. I thought it would be okay to lay low, to drop out for a while. You know what they say, idle hands are the devil's playground. I spent all my money on drugs and women. I squandered the rest. By the time I was in any shape to come back, nobody was interested. I couldn't get a job, I couldn't get a date, I had become a joke. My sense of style, my humor, was no longer in vogue. It's what made me famous in the first place. If I changed that, I wasn't sure there'd be anything left. I knew who I was, and that was my pride. The world was changing, but I refused to. I had a reputation to uphold. Friends and family tried to intervene. I never trusted their advice. Their advice seemed to revolve around the very thing that both made and broke me. I could have kept fighting, but in the end, it probably would have killed me. That is why I disappeared. That's why I decided to start anew. That's why I faked my death. The details of my current life are not relevant to this story. The less said, the better. I was once a teen idol. Nothing lasts forever.
Mars is a champion of the sun. 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 Mars is the 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 champion of the sun. Mars is a 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 champion of the sun. Mars is the champion of the sun. Mars is a champion for 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 the sun. Mars is a champion of 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 the sun. Mars is a champion for the sun. Mars is a champion for the sun. Mars is the champion of 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 the sun.